As we approach the start of May 2025, whispers of potential shortages and supply chain disruptions are growing louder. Whether it's due to geopolitical tensions, climate-related agricultural challenges, or economic instability, certain grocery items are predicted to become increasingly scarce, or even impossible to find, before the calendar flips to May. If you're serious about preparing for what's ahead, this guide will walk you through 10 grocery items that may vanish from shelves in the coming months, why they're at risk, and actionable steps you can take to secure your household before it's too late. Why should you act now? Before diving into the list, let's address the elephant in the room. Why should you believe these predictions? Recent events have shown us just how fragile global supply chains can be. From pandemic-induced panic buying to extreme weather patterns wiping out crops, we've seen firsthand how quickly everyday staples can disappear. Add to that rising inflation, labor shortages, and geopolitical conflicts disrupting trade routes, and it's clear that securing essential items now is not paranoia, it's preparation. The key takeaway here is urgency. Once these items start disappearing, prices will skyrocket, and competition for limited stock will intensify. By acting now, you'll save both money and stress while ensuring your family remains fed and prepared. Rice, often called the calorie king, is a global dietary staple. However, several factors are threatening its availability. Severe droughts in major rice-producing countries like India and Thailand are a big concern. Additionally, export bans imposed by governments to prioritize domestic needs are making the situation worse, and rising fertilizer costs are making cultivation less profitable. So what can you do? Well, stock up on long-grain white rice, which has an indefinite shelf life when stored properly. Use airtight containers with oxygen absorbers to prevent spoilage. Also, consider alternatives like quinoa or bulgur as backups. Here's a pro tip. Buy in bulk during sales and rotate your stock regularly to avoid waste. Cooking oil, a kitchen essential, is facing significant shortages. Vegetable oils like sunflower, canola, and palm oil are particularly at risk. The war in Ukraine, a major exporter of sunflower oil, has disrupted supplies. There is also record-high demand for biofuels, which competes with food production, and crop failures caused by unpredictable weather patterns are adding to the problem. What you can do: opt for shelf-stable options like olive oil or coconut oil, which last longer. Store cooking oils in dark glass bottles away from heat and light to extend their lifespan. Experiment with alternative fats like ghee or lard for cooking. Warning: avoid hoarding cheap, low-quality oils. They degrade faster and aren't worth the investment. Canned goods are being snapped up faster than ever because of their convenience and long shelf life. However, steel and aluminum shortages are driving up production costs. Labor strikes at processing plants are slowing output. Increased consumer demand is depleting inventories rapidly. What you can do: prioritize versatile canned goods like beans, tomatoes, tuna, and soups. Check expiration dates and buy products with the longest remaining shelf life. Rotate your stash by using older cans first and replacing them with fresh ones. Pro tip: look for sales at big box stores like Costco or Sam's Club, where bulk purchases often come at discounted rates. Pasta, the comfort food champion, is another victim of wheat shortages and rising grain prices. The key drivers include reduced wheat harvests in Russia and Australia, surging energy costs affecting milling operations, and panic buying among consumers stocking up on non-perishables. What you can do is focus on dried pasta varieties which last indefinitely when kept dry. Stockpile sauces separately, as many pre-packaged meals contain preservatives that reduce quality. Learn how to make homemade pasta if supplies dwindle further. And as a bonus idea, pair pasta with freeze-dried vegetables for quick, nutritious meals. Peanut butter, the protein powerhouse, is beloved for its affordability and versatility. But it's at risk because extreme heat waves are damaging peanut crops across the southern United States. Rising transportation costs are inflating retail prices, and increased demand for plant-based proteins is straining supply. What you can do. Choose no-stir varieties to avoid separation issues during storage. Store jars upside down to distribute oils evenly once opened. Explore alternatives like almond butter or sunflower seed butter if allergies are a concern. Caution. Avoid bargain brands loaded with added sugars and hydrogenated oils. Baby formula, a parent's priority. Why it's at risk. Baby formula shortages have been ongoing since 2022, exacerbated by factory shutdowns and recalls, supply chain bottlenecks limiting distribution, and growing populations increasing demand. What you can do. If possible, consult your pediatrician about transitioning to generic formulas. Purchase powdered formula instead of ready-to-feed versions for better longevity. Keep a small stockpile but don't overbuy, as ethical considerations matter. Important note, never attempt to make homemade formula unless guided by a healthcare professional. Meat, the protein staple, is at risk. Meat prices are soaring due to several factors. Feed shortages are impacting livestock farming. Disease outbreaks are affecting the poultry and pork industries. And rising fuel costs are making transportation prohibitively expensive. So what can you do? Invest in frozen meat during sales and portion it out for freezing. Learn preservation techniques like curing, smoking, or pressure canning. Explore plant-based protein substitutes like lentils, chickpeas, or tofu. And here's a pro tip: ground meats freeze well and can be repurposed into multiple dishes. Sugar, the sweet necessity, is also at risk. Sugar production is under threat from several issues. Devastating floods in Brazil, the world's largest sugar producer, beet crop failures in Europe due to pesticide bans, and increased use of sugar in ethanol production. So, what can you do? Well, start by buying granulated sugar in bulk. It lasts forever in airtight containers. Another option is to consider honey or maple syrup as natural sweetener alternatives. You might also want to learn to grow stevia plants indoors for a renewable source of sweetness. And here's a fun fact: sugar acts as a natural preservative, extending the shelf life of baked goods. 9. Coffee, the morning ritual. Coffee lovers beware. Your morning cup might soon cost an arm and a leg. Reasons include droughts and frost-damaging coffee bean crops in Brazil and Colombia, shipping delays causing backlogs at ports, and growing global consumption outpacing supply. What you can do. Stock up on whole beans or instant coffee. They stay fresher longer. Store coffee in vacuum-sealed bags to lock in flavor. Explore caffeine alternatives like green tea or yerba mate. Pro tip: roast your own green coffee beans at home for a fresher taste and lower cost. 10. Toilet paper, the unsung hero. Toilet paper shortages made headlines during the pandemic, and history may repeat itself due to pulpwood shortages affecting paper mills, rising shipping container costs, delaying deliveries, and consumer stockpiling driven by uncertainty. Final thoughts. Prepare smart, not hard. The clock is ticking, and the window of opportunity to secure these critical grocery items is closing fast. While it's tempting to rush out and buy everything in sight, remember that smart preparation beats hasty decisions every time. Here's a quick recap of the steps you should take. Assess your needs. Tailor your stockpile to fit your family's size, dietary preferences, and lifestyle. Shop strategically. Take advantage of sales, discounts, and bulk purchasing opportunities. Store properly. Ensure proper storage conditions to maximize shelf life and minimize waste. Stay informed, monitor news updates, and adjust your strategy based on emerging trends. By taking action now, you'll not only safeguard your household, but also gain peace of mind knowing you're prepared for whatever lies ahead. So, what are you waiting for? Start building your stockpile today, and share your own tips in the comments below. Together, we can navigate these uncertain times with confidence and resilience.